What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex Yu and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review, and today's review will be John Carter. John Carter is a movie based off a book or series of books from the 1930s, and after watching last night's movie, I don't plan to read the book. I'm sure the book is a lot better, but after watching it last night, I'm done with the whole John Carter story. Now, a lot of people were saying that this movie is kind of like Avatar. A lot of people are comparing it to Avatar. It is so completely different, okay? The only similarity that John Carter and Avatar have are that a human fights with aliens, with an alien race, okay? Other than that, it's two totally different stories, because in Avatar, you have Jake Sully fighting for the Na'vi. In John Carter, you have the aliens, I don't even know what they're called, fighting with John Carter. So it's two totally different things. The story in the most simplest form is that John Carter mysteriously finds his way to Mars. He gets teleported to Mars, and then he is in the middle of a battle. Like, well, he doesn't get physically transported right in the middle of the battle, but he is transported during a time of war and turmoil between the red guys and the blue guys, which are human. Okay, well, Martians, if you want to get technical. And then, before he gets caught up in that battle, he meets these alien race, which I didn't even know what they're called, and they're these four-armed Geonosian-looking thingies, green thingies. And I say that because the entire time that I was watching John Carter in those Mars scenes, it reminded me of the entire sequence on Geonosis in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, because those guys really look like the Geonosians. You know, those guys with the flies that speak like this. So anyways, at the beginning of the movie, you're on Earth. The characters are on Earth, and I really was lost in the movie. I didn't really know what the heck was going on, and I think it's meant to be like that. You don't really find out what the whole Earth story aspect of it is about until later on in the movie. It started getting really interesting after John Carter ends up in Mars, because at that point it's a fish out of water story. You know, you got a human on Mars and he doesn't know what he's doing there, so he has to adjust into the language, the atmosphere, the environment, and just dealing with these weird looking aliens. And I gotta say that this movie wasn't a movie that really made me feel anything. Like, I just watched it. It was entertaining at some moments, but the rest of it I really didn't care a whole lot for. There were some scenes that were pretty cool, like because of the gravity, he was jumping around, and he was just fighting these other aliens, and he was on the speeder bike thingy. That was pretty cool, but I can't really give this movie a positive score, just for the simple fact that there were a lot of things that really distracted me from enjoying this movie. And a lot of it has to do with Taylor Kitsch's lack of star power. He just doesn't have that hero status, you know, that hero persona. I can't really see it. There's no charisma in his portrayal of John Carter. I don't know what John Carter was originally like in the book, so I'm really reviewing this movie as a standalone film. I don't think this is the movie that'll make Taylor Kitsch into a star, like a superstar. The main thing that really has going for this movie is the visual effects, and that's why people would come to watch a movie like this, because they're either fans of the original material, which I'm not sure if that really helped, just because the box office draw was so low, and to top things off, the stories were so old that I don't even know if anyone really cares. But people who will watch this movie, I think, really are watching this for the visuals. I really wanted to watch this movie just because I wanted to see epic battles, and I was a little bit let down just because there really aren't any huge epic battles. The only battle that I really enjoyed watching was when John Carter encounters those two red and blue humans fight for the first time, and he's jumping from ship to ship, and that part was actually really cool. And another scene where John Carter just fights off a whole group of these really mean looking aliens, and he just kills them all off on his own, like an entire army. That part got entertaining up until to the point where I felt that, okay, he's just a little bit too powerful. He's just too powerful that he's impossible to kill. If a whole entire army cannot kill him, then what can kill him? At that point, you don't even really care about his character anymore, just because he's just way too powerful. As for the rest of the characters, I thought the most interesting character out of the entire movie was Mark Strong, and Mark Strong always plays a decent villain. In fact, if you want a good villain in your movie, you just cast Mark Strong. He's been typecasted, but there's a reason why, and that is because he does a good job playing villains. And as for the rest of the movie and the actual story of it, I just really don't buy it. And especially at the end of the movie, he makes a decision. I'm not going to say what it is. I just don't buy it. And if you want to defend that by saying, but that's what happens in the books, well, they did a bad job portraying it in the movie. Or that original story really just isn't that good. I'm sorry to say it, but the story isn't that good, and maybe the movie didn't do the book any justice. What I saw is the movie, and I don't really care for reading the books. I was expecting to watch something epic, but the movie that I saw was not anything epic. And with regards to the visual effects, another thing that I found was distracting about this movie was at the very beginning of the scenes on Mars, the environments just looked really fake. And that takes away from my overall getting into the movie. Like, I couldn't get absorbed into the movie just because the lighting was off. When you watch a computer graphic, visually driven movie, the first thing you notice is how real or fake the visual effects are, and you can tell that just because of the lighting. But our brains are made to tell us that, okay, something about this just doesn't look right. Something's off. I can't explain what. The lighting or something is just not right. I couldn't help but think about how fake some of these scenes look, and because of that, I couldn't get absorbed into the story or whatever action was taking place in the movie. Anyways, it did have moments where I felt entertained. I don't think it was a crappy movie. It just wasn't really that good. But I give it a 5 out of 10 for effort. I'm actually a little bit surprised it didn't take in more at the box office. This movie cost $350 million in terms of production budget and marketing. It pulled in $100 million worldwide. That's $30 million domestically and $70 million internationally. And from that point on, it's just gonna be a decline. And because of that, I think this is gonna be the first big box office bomb for Disney. Anyways, that's all I gotta say for this movie. John Carter, 5 out of 10. Has some moments, some fake CG environments. Couldn't really get into the story. Taylor Kitsch doesn't quite have that star power yet, but stay tuned for watching him in his next movie on Battleship. I think that movie is going to be the one that makes him into a superstar. My name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching the Ragin Ronin review. I'll see you next time. Peace. The screen is tiny, and I was so not used to it, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I couldn't really get into the movie. Yeah, I couldn't really get into it, you know what I'm saying? So I had a hard